The following production is part of the Play Some Video Games podcast network.
Greetings, Koopalings! Welcome back to the Nintendo Shack. That's right, the Shack is back. This week we're man down. We're flying without Jason Lacey over there at Fluxipose. If you didn't know, they had their 200th episode. Such a huge milestone. I gave them the week off, but don't fear. I brought some friends with me. Caroline makes a return. Hey, girl.
Let's dance, boys.
Oh, it's good stuff. I like it. And making his Shack of debut, Shack proper debut, the man over there from the land of cardboard, Kyle. Hey, buddy.
Hey, man, watching you jam out while that music was playing brought joy to my heart.
Oh, it's
it was great.
So what you don't know yet, because you can't hear it, is that we switched our bumper. Ooh,
I'm looking forward to it.
There you go. So this week on Shack, the reason that Caroline and Kyle are here specifically, I actually had this scheduled like 2-3 weeks ago, is we were talking Bayonetta, because Bayonetta dropped for Nintendo last week. It is their first exclusive game, I guess, really of like 2018, right? Ish.
Oh yeah, I thought you were gonna say it was
on
their
Switch.
First day.
Anyways,
yeah, you're right.
It was the leading eShop last week, so it appears to be selling well. Although I have seen reports it's not selling nearly as well as it did on Wii U, and that makes sense. It's a port of an old game. So we're going to talk about that right now. And then I've got some news stories, and we can talk about some of the things that we've been playing. But let's say, has anybody beaten Bayonetta 2 on Switch yet? Nice. Me. I'm on chapter 13. I tried. I ran out of time. I did a stream.
Finished it today.
Nice. I tried. I came home.
In my defense, I played the whole thing on easy just so I'd be ready.
Ooh, I'm playing on normal. Okay, that makes me feel a little bit better. How many of you beat Bayonetta 1? Okay. So listeners, Caroline beat Bayonetta 2. Kyle beat Bayonetta 1, and so did Caroline. And I haven't beaten either one of them. I didn't even play Bayonetta 1. So I'm going to let you guys start.
You're missing out. It comes full circle at the end.
I'm excited. Okay, so tell me why, because that's the reason I never played Bayonetta 1 on Wii U either. I always took the approach, why would I play Bayonetta 1 when I could be playing Bayonetta 2?
So you've never played Bayonetta 1?
I tried it. I turned it on and played maybe the first chapter or two, and then I was like, I'm just going to play the new one.
We were joking earlier, who plays Bayonetta for the story?
Right. I mean,
you have to play Bayonetta 1 in order to understand Bayonetta 2.
So let's get into it. You guys played Bayonetta 1 on Switch. Kyle, let's throw it to you, buddy. You're a Bayonetta fan. Bayonetta 1 on Switch. What do you think? Should I play it? Why should I play it?
I think, and obviously I don't know because I haven't started Bayonetta 2 yet. From what I hear, Bayonetta 1 is far more challenging than Bayonetta 2 is. But I really enjoy the game, and I think when it comes to looking for a solid hack 'em, slash 'em, beat 'em up style game that's really going to test your skills and push you to the limits of how good of a gamer are you, I think that Bayonetta is a really excellent entry into that, and it's just oozing with style. I think that I like games that know what they are and are willing just to push that limit to the edge, to the extreme. And Bayonetta 100% does that. I played it back on 360, beat it then. It's one of my favorite games of all time. I was more than happy to jump back into it on Switch and play it again. I think it feels pretty much exactly the same, which I'm slightly disappointed by. I was hoping for a little something extra there, a little something. And maybe this is just my mind, and it doesn't. Maybe it does look better than I remember it, but I don't feel like it does. But that could easily just be my memory tainting what it looks like. How when you play games, you're like, oh, this is what it always looked like. But then when you actually see what it looked like, you're like, oh gosh, never mind. It didn't look that good. But I wish it was full 1080. That would be nice. That'd be cool. But overall, still a great experience. Still a really fun game. Really cool story. Awesome combat. I think it's a fun time, Donnie. And you are definitely missing out if you haven't experienced it.
Yeah. I'm shocked you've made it up through chapter 13 knowing what the heck's going on.
Oh, I don't. So that's
bro, come on.
So all right.
No,
so
did you play it on Wii U though?
I beat Bayonetta 2 on Wii U, so I know what I'm in for. I've done this before.
But it makes so much more sense if you play the original game.
That makes sense because it's one of those things where I was like, I don't really know what's going on, but as as Kyle alluded to before we started, like I also kind of feel like maybe I don't really need to. You know, it's just like I'm smashing like, you know, the A and X buttons. I'm beating up some fools. Like I don't really. I mean, I get it, right? So like, all right, I don't even go there. Bayonetta 1. We're still on Bayonetta 1. Go crazy. Bayonetta 1. I'm
just gonna say, like, for Kyle who has not played Bayonetta 2, I highly recommend it. Number one, because like I played Bayonetta last week when it popped out, and number one, that game is a lot shorter than I remember. There are way more chapters. I'd say maybe about 5 more chapters in Bayo 2 than there are for the original game. On top of that, the load times that I remember between Wii U and the Switch version are like, it's not even comparable. It's like 5 seconds within load times on Bayo 1. And that's amazing to me, because on the Wii U, you know, I figured, they could probably do away with some of the load time. And as I dabbled in it on the Xbox 360 when my friend had it way back in 2010. I was still in college, and I don't remember enough about load times then. Looked fine back then, but it definitely needed a facelift, and I don't think it got it. But anyway, Bayo 2 looks incredible in comparison once you play them back to back. And it's just, but what? Go ahead.
There we go. That, I think, honestly, I think the biggest reason why I was like, why would I play Bayonetta 1 when I could play Bayonetta 2 is the looks.
Okay, but
like when I played the old one, I was watching a cutscene. It looked like I was like running in slow motion. I was like, this just doesn't look all. It's like really dark. It's like, I was like, I could watch a YouTube video and get caught up and just go play the better game.
I'm obsessed with like story and art and gameplay, like, and music and stuff. So like the story, the art, and the music are what bring me into a game. That's why I love Xenoblade 2 so much. And you obviously didn't care about it. You got rid of it. But anyway,
Kyle gets off clean here.
Yeah, I got rid of it too.
Man, and here I was upset that they delayed 1.3.0 until like
updates.
But you know what? That's fine by me. I am ready because I already 100% of the game. That's another story.
Yeah.
But Kyle, you have to play Bayo 2, and Donnie, you have to play Bayo 1, because I think I'm more into chewing on Donnie for not having played the original Bayonetta, because you've had 8 years to do it.
Just like hate Donnie week, man. I tell you, this whole week, everybody in every channel of our Discord, it's just.
I'm just gonna.
I helped you out today.
That's true. Thank you, buddy. That's true. I forgot about that already.
All of the events of Bayonetta 1 are explained, like any sort of weird plot holes that happened in the original Bayonetta. It's like, why did so and so have this motive? Why did so and so do this? Why that? Completely full circle at the end of Bayonetta 2.
Okay, so let's just cut this short so we can get on to the main course here. Bayonetta 1, it's like a 360 game on the Switch that you get for buying Bayonetta 2, right? It's like a freebie, it's like a throw-in. But it's Courtney Caroline's totally worth your time. She thinks you should play it. I mean, is there anything really more to say about it than that? I mean, how old is the game? It's like 10 years old at this point.
No, it came out.
I don't want to spend 30 minutes talking about a 10-year-old game.
It's 8 years old.
There you go.
But you like, in order to appreciate the story of Bayonetta 2, I feel like you have to have played its predecessor.
Okay, is that because of like his because of like her mom and dad and all that?
Yeah.
Because I mean, I kind of get it. I don't feel like I need to play the first one to understand. I understand it. I may not fully be aware, but I think I understand it.
There's allusions to another character that I won't go into in Bayo 1 that Loki, the child character in Bayonetta 2, is very much like a sort of parallel to the other character. I won't go into it for bless Kyle's heart.
All right. I will play it. I promise you, I will play it. Well, I mean, I bought it. I got it. I used the code.
You know what? I started it Friday night when I downloaded it, and I beat it Saturday afternoon. So, I mean, like, I played it on easy mode just to, or not easy, whatever the second one is, the middle one, which is technically the normal that they have. The old normal is considered hard mode in Bayo 2. So, yeah, they've really dumbed it down in Bayo 2.
Okay. And just to be clear, I am playing Bayo 2. I just haven't started it yet. Like, I fully 100% plan to play it.
I understand that, but I mean, like, for somebody that's like, oh my god, I love Bayo, and I just can't believe you haven't played it yet.
Well, my wife really wanted to play Lego Hobbit this week, so that is what I've played.
Caroline just looks on that with such disdain. All right. I have played Bayonetta 2. I have beaten it in the past, and I am almost done with it now. We are through hell, so like I'm getting there.
Inferno.
I'm almost done, yeah. And Bayonetta 2 is great. I share some of the same feelings that Kyle shares about Bayonetta 1 with Bayonetta 2. And I mentioned this in our Discord all week, so for those of you that haven't checked in, PSVG, placeofvideogames.com, Discord banner, you can join us and talk with us all week long. I'm a little upset I feel like they've done nothing to this game. They have literally taken a game that came out 3 years ago. They have re-released it in its full form and touch it. They didn't do anything to it. They were just like, here it is, and it's full price. They didn't even lower the price.
They changed the names. It was easy, normal, and hard mode. In the Wii U version was first climax, second climax, and third climax, respectively.
There you go. That's a $20 bump.
They've just changed it to easy, normal, and hard on this one. So
I mean, there is the part of me that goes, I love Bayonetta, like the character, and I love the game as in the gameplay. So I'm happy to support and want it to be there. There's the Nintendo fan of me that loves having another exclusive that I'm proud to have, that I want to support as well. There's also the I own all the console gamer in me that's like, this is ridiculous. Like the Ratchet and Clank game got remade, all retextured everything, and it was $40. And this got nothing done at all, and it's $60. Like, it is the same game.
You remember what I was telling you this week, that I was going to admit that I was wrong about something?
Yes, go.
It did have a change to it. It got a facelift, and I complained when I saw the the comparison of the muted colors of the Wii U, and the Switch basically just got, let's pump the saturation up.
Yeah, you're right. Like, it's like they notched the gamma slider up a little. Like, things are a little brighter. You know? Yeah.
And I was mad because I was like, I like that muted kind of washed out light that the original Bayonetta had, and I liked the way that it looked in Bayo 2. As of playing through on the Switch, I am definitely more a fan of the pumped up color.
Which is what I said. Yeah, I want more brighter, more colors. Yeah, always.
Now, like the load screens and the Muspelheims. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, just absolutely gorgeous. And it's just small things like that I was able to appreciate. But yeah, that's about it. That's really all that they did.
It's kind of a bummer, like, because you would expect in 2018 on improved hardware that's proven that it can do more than its predecessor, you would expect a resolution bump at the very least, without even texture work. Resolution bump. I don't think it's crazy to expect in 3 years texture work and a resolution bump. It's kind of a cash grab, just a little bit.
Just a little.
Happy to have it. Happy to support it. I'm not saying I regret it. I'm just saying, kind of leaves me just a little let down. I think
you have to understand that
it out.
Switch has surpassed the Wii U in sales, I think, already.
Yes.
Or it's gotten close.
Yep. No, it has. No, that's completely. 9 months it passed Wii U's 5 years.
Oh my God. But they understand that next to nobody had a Wii U, and people that wanted to play it and maybe didn't own the Wii U, which we need to talk about what you've done.
We will. I'll get there.
I think it's given him the opportunity, and it's half cash grab, half let's give the other people an opportunity.
You're absolutely right. I point that out with Kevin all the time, that there's a lot of people that never played these games. You're right, but 3 years have passed. I mean, like, I don't know. Kyle, help me here. Like, you should expect a little bit more, right?
I mean, I expected a little bit more. Granted, I didn't have a Wii U, so I never played Bayonetta 2, and actually, currently still have, but will in like the next week.
But like, if Shadow of Colossus came out and it's like, it's 720p, like, people would have been furious, right?
Yes, people would have been really upset. And I do think that is a little disappointing, but I also think for them, it was the balance of, okay, we need to, clearly we have a third one coming out that's announced. We need to drive some knowledge of like who this character is and what this is all about to the people who are on this system. So we could spend maybe another 4 months,
right?
Bumping up resolutions, maybe improving textures, doing whatever, and have this come out. But we don't know when Bayo 3 is coming out. So maybe they're like, no, this has to drop now. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe Bayo 2019. But
maybe they're just hard at work at Bayonetta 3, and they're like, let's get Bayonetta 2 out. And they literally just took the same code and moved it over.
Yeah.
Anyway, that said, here I got a couple things I'll say, and then I'll turn it over. I'm going to turn it back to you, Kyle, because you said some interesting things aboard video games, things I just didn't expect, and kind of blew me away. That said, 720p is fine. Specifically, the cutscenes, Bayonetta 2 still looks really good. Runs well. There are sections in the game that I really enjoy. Specifically, anytime like there's water with those colors that they drop down, and it's all like rainbowy color. Like that's beautiful, and you see that 10, 13 different environments. Like it's not like this one section of the game. You see it constantly. You see it in the church. You see it in the chapel. You see it in the outside. You see it in Inferno. Like it's fantastic. I love it. That. Whatever they're doing there, I don't even know the best way to describe it, but that watercolory thing that they're doing, I need that in more games. Like that, it makes the whole game look so much better. The game looks 10 times better when you play it portably. I stand by that. When you play this game in portable mode at 720 on a 6-inch screen, you don't notice it nearly as much when you blow it up on a 60-inch TV. You blow up on a 60-inch TV and you're like, ugh, boy, that's an edgy looking game. You play it on the portable mode, you're like, this game looks great. You don't even know. You're like, it looks amazing. Is it in 4K? It's incredible. There's something about that compression, man. You can't see it because it's so small.
Donnie plays all his games at 720 or 4K. Nothing in between.
That said, I was, in my mind, when I was playing it portably, I was like, Kyle's going to love this. He's coming from Vita. He's a portable player. God, he's just going to blow his mind. He's going to boot up Bayonetta 2 and be like, oh my God. And he still might. We've learned now that he hasn't played it yet. But Bayonetta 1, you're like, ugh, I don't like playing it portably. What gives, man?
To be honest, I think I am falling hard out of love with Joy-Cons.
Yeah.
I've went from Celeste to this, where like control is really important. And the Joy-Cons, I'm really getting... I think they do some things great, and for some gaming, they are great. But for gaming like this, I don't think they're ideal. And that's the reason... Now, granted, I could take them off, or leave them on, set it up on the stand, grab my Pro Controller, and do that. And I know this is just something I need to get over. That just feels weird to me. I'm like, if I'm holding this Pro Controller and I have this huge television right there, why am I looking at the 6-inch screen on my coffee table?
Makes sense.
So for me, that's something I just have to get over. I think because I'm playing it on normal. I'm not playing it on any of the easier things.
I'm playing normal too, yeah.
And with those Joy-Cons, man, I just tell you. And maybe I'm just older now and I suck way more at games. That's very possible.
I'm going to tell you what I told Jason. You got to get thumbsticks. When you're playing with Joy-Cons, it makes a world of difference. I'm not saying it's better than Pro Controller.
Right.
But it makes a world of difference. And
maybe I'll try that. Because you're right. It looks great on the screen. And that is the way I want to play it. I just really feel like I'm struggling in making things happen. And then when I throw it in the dock and play, from a gameplay perspective, I'm having far fewer issues as far as doing the things that I think I should be able to do. And that responded the way I thought it was going to. I'm just not having those issues anywhere near as much as when I'm playing with the Pro Controller.
Right. Caroline, Bayonetta 2.
What?
What's your thoughts? Go. Let's hear it.
I've already played it for Wii U. So this game is kind of like 3 years old for me. I like the story in Bayo 2 better than Bayo 1.
That makes me less likely to go.
You gotta play it, dude.
I'm like, why am I playing Bayonetta 1 then?
You've gotta play it. As a sequel, you can appreciate it. It's like Toy Story. Like, the original Toy Story was fantastic. But then you see Toy Story 2, and you're like, man, they did a really good job on that. That's really good. And you see Toy Story 3, and you're like, oh my God, how could they top Toy Story and Toy Story 2? That's my personal opinion, by the way. But Bayo 2 kind of trumped Bayo 1 story. And I don't know if that's because it speaks to the Bayo 1 stuff or if it's just because I was more in depth. And my husband, who has not been into any of the Bayo stuff, by the way, actually said, I'm into Bayo 2 more than I was Bayo 1.
Cool.
So.
Very cool. I had a question, and I completely forgot it when you started talking about your husband. He just completely shocked my mind.
You probably
so before we move on to other things, I did want to say, Kyle, we always talk kind of philosophy, right? Back towards each other. We're always thinking of these grand thoughts. Tell me what you think about this. The Switch is weird in some cases because if Bayonetta 2 was running on a Vita, I think I'd score it a 9.5. But because I can also run it on the dock, comparing to other things, I'd score it a 7.5. How do you feel with that? Isn't that weird? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to make
Yeah.
a point. It's a weird point to make, but it's weird. Because, like,
Right.
as a portable game, it's incredible.
But I think the difference being, though, that if Bayo ran on Vita and looked the way it does, you'd be like, they're
Killing it.
getting the maximum out of that hardware.
Yeah.
Whereas right now you don't feel that way. You feel like, hey, I've seen things that are better than this on this hardware.
I haven't seen many things that look better portably than Bayonetta does on Switch portably. In portable mode. It looks better than Zelda in portable mode, for sure.
I mean, I think at that point you're talking an art style difference of what you prefer.
Fair enough.
To me, I mean, I think Zelda, for however much I may give it crap on occasion, I think Zelda's a beautiful game. I think
so do I.
Stellar,
it loses. It gets dull and it gets edgy in portable mode. It's totally playable. But I mean, if we're splitting hairs and being specific, I mean, I think it gets
laggy.
Yeah, like the colors kind of tone out. Like it gets that Vaseline like white, whereas Bayonetta is still very crisp.
And it's very narrow.
Yeah,
but is that
that's
also
true.
not
That's
the way
true.
that you've
Very
got your
linear, right in front of you, small
Right.
areas. You're absolutely right.
the way that you've got your TV set up too? Because I know my TV setup, it's a little bit saturated more than what the screen is on the portable mode.
Mine's turned all the way up, all colors, full. Yeah. So.
Color.
But I don't think that's unusual because, like, if this package came out as is and you were to play it on your Xbox One X,
That's true.
would you be like, oh, you clearly wouldn't give it a 9.5 there, So like,
Probably not.
I don't think that's unusual because you're just saying, hey, I feel like there still could be more here based off the hardware this is on or not. But I don't think that's necessarily totally unusual.
Okay. I'm kind of over review, so I'm really not going to say like a review score. Like I've been talking about this Discord for like a month now. I'm just kind of like over numbers, so I really don't care. I think it's a really good game. I love Bayonetta the character. We'd be remiss though if we left this conversation and we didn't at least address the elephant in the room. Not to get too political, but Bayonetta always seems to garner the subject of sexuality and how you feel about it. So Caroline, Bayonetta, pretty sensuous character. Does that bother you?
Yeah. As a woman, I don't give a crap.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a good game, and I like, I don't care how she looks personally. Like, if I were swinging that way, she wouldn't make me feel a certain way either. I mean, it doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't do anything against it for me.
Kyle.
You guys laughing at me.
I love it.
I just thought it was an interesting way you wanted to approach it. That's fine. That's totally cool. I don't have any issues. I think that there's a distinct difference between Bayonetta as a character and other women in games as characters, and the fact of how Bayonetta, her sexuality is 100% her choice, and how she chooses to use it and how she chooses to present herself and use that to her advantage over dumb dudes who are like, well, I can't handle myself. So no, I don't think there's any problem there at all. Now, might that be put off to some people to their sensibilities, or they may feel that the game's inappropriate? Sure, absolutely. But that's my perspective on it as a dude. Like I also feel like I only have so much that makes sense.
Kyle's like, I have to quantify that I am in fact a dude.
A dude.
Well, I'm just saying that. Like,
I feel the need to disclose my sexuality as a male.
I just thought I was a guy that had nothing to do with my sexuality. But anyway,
well, a guy is okay.
Yeah, you get what I'm saying. Okay. But what I'm saying is like, I think however the situation is, I feel like you can easily make arguments the other direction that makes sense. But in general, I don't think her as a character is any issue with me at all. So
sure. Well, I have a little feedback to share. First and foremost, as a male, as a guy, as a dude. I love it. I always have. Like, nobody, that's a shocker to nobody. Everybody's like, oh my God, here's misogynistic Donnie. Love it. I always have. I love Bayonetta. My wife, on the other hand, not the biggest fan, especially like first glance. She's always like, all right, she's like, I like Bayonetta, but why does she have to like spin down the spear when she uses it? And why does she have to like bend like that? And why does she have, and I'm like, I love it because to me it's very, all right, before I say sexist things that makes people mad, to me it's like, it's very much like, what's the best way of saying this? It's very much like a girl, like kicking butt like a girl's way, like a femme fatale type way. Like she's not like, you know what I'm saying? Like she's not a girl doing dude things.
I know.
Remember how I mentioned that in Uncharted? Remember, Kyle? I was like, these
Yeah,
are girls,
it's very-
but they kind of just they could be Nathan Drake. Like you could just swap the face, and you wouldn't
Well,
feel. She feels like a woman kicking tail.
And I think now too, you know, it's very La Femme Nikita, right? But with things like Atomic Blonde and things like this coming
Yes.
out, I think the stylistic of this is not as, you know, it is something we're seeing more and more than we were when Bayonetta originally released back in 2010.
Right. And then last night when we were playing, I was beating up some fools. My wife was watching me, and she was like, "Why does she have to do that? Why does she have to do that?" And then she goes, "Can't they just be princesses?" And I said, "Hey, watch it. There are a lot of girls get really upset when every video game." She's like, "I know." She's like, and then she kind of pulled a 180, probably more like a 140. She's like, "I guess I like Bayonetta. At least she's not like a damsel in distress." So I always think it's a fun topic that people can talk around. They can go around and around. Yeah. You can bend it if you're, if you hate it.
I got no problem with a Peach being a princess, a damsel in distress. I got no problem with Bayonetta being like this kick-ass woman that, flaunts what she got. People are going to be upset about everything, but true. I'm just not picky. It's a game.
It is kind of interesting because my wife's reaction to it was, because I had asked her, I was like, "Hey, what do you think?" And she's like, "Well, that's it's whatever. That kind of stuff doesn't really bother her." And I was like, "Well, some people have concerns about the sexuality of the character." And her first response is, "Oh, I thought they'd way more care about the fact that she's killing angels." I was like, "Well,
no, nobody's ever said that. Nobody cares about that. That's fine.
That part up. So whatever, I guess."
She kills angels and demons. She's fair on both sides. She doesn't care.
It is true. She does. But at that time, I was killing angels.
I love that. That's great. Yep. That's great. All right.
Funny.
Well, we all thumbs up recommend Bayonetta, right? Yeah. That's good. There you go, Shaq, folks. That's all you really need to know. You should, if you have a Switch, you should totally buy Bayonetta. If you have a Switch and only a Switch, I would say it's a must grab. If you've never played it before, it's a must grab. You should play it. So we'll move on. I've got some news stories, just a couple, but I want to ask you guys what you've been doing on Switch or just in the Nintendo ecosphere. Like, we haven't had either one of you on in a few weeks. Kyle, in particular, I checked out your Switch profile. Not to put you on blast here.
Yeah.
But I was looking at my own time, and I looked at Kyle's, and the reason I want to bring this up, one, I want to ask you about a game you were playing. Two, I noticed that your profile didn't say you were playing Bayonetta to me. Which makes me want to ask you, like, were you connected to the internet? Or were you offline? Like, is that something
my Switch does not like to hook up to our wireless. I don't know why. It never has. Wow. I will be playing for like 2 hours, and then all of a sudden it'll be like, boop, somebody's online, and then I'll go to look, and I'll be like, "Oh, I can't connect to the internet."
That was my initial impression. I was like, he must not be online. That must be an online function.
Yeah, because like I don't know what it is in my basement. Like my PS4 and my Xbox both hook up to wireless just fine. My Switch, I have to like bring it upstairs and sit in a certain spot, and then it'll hook up. So like when I download games, I literally like bring it upstairs and set it in one spot, and that's where I download my games from my Switch.
I wanted to ask you about Floor Kids. I know you talked about it briefly on Board with Video Games, but I want to know, like, have you played it since? Can you tell our Shaq listeners about that game? Because neither Jason and I pulled the trigger on that one. Yeah,
so it's a really... It's a cool game. I really am into rhythm games, and I think you have to be into rhythm games to like this game, definitely. But it's a unique approach to a rhythm game in the sense of you're able to, you have folks in the crowd and you're dancing, and they're calling out different things for you to do. So you have to get good enough at the controls and recognize, like, when they're calling this thing out, that's this button combination or this combination of things that I have to do in order to maximize your score. And that's still the thing for me that I struggle the most with. Is that it's very entrenched in that dancing culture, and I just don't know it well enough. But the music's really cool. It's a really fun, easy to pick up. Just play one stage and move on if you only have like 5 minutes to do. I still pick it up from time to time. It's definitely because of Celeste and now because of Bayonetta. I haven't put a ton of time into it lately, but I plan to keep going back and playing it. And it's a game I think I'm going to continue to go back and play. It's definitely a niche game. I don't think it's for everyone, but for those who will like it, if you're into rhythm games, if you're like into that style of hip hop music, I think is a really good fit for that. And I think it's a really interesting, unique game to have on Switch because it's not anywhere else, I don't believe, right now. And I think it fits the Switch. How everyone's like, "Oh, I'd really wish this game was on Switch." It fits it really well because You can literally pick up and play it for 5 minutes to get through one song, or you can sit down for 2 hours and complete an entire stage. So yeah, I think it's a good buy. I think it's an interesting game. I think the art style is great. The music's stellar. You just really have to be into a rhythm game in order to probably truly appreciate it.
Crazy. Okay. In perusing your outdated profile, I also noticed you played Mario the most, and everything else not at all. So the question is, since you're here at Shack and you've said your remarks, why do you hate Zelda? What's the problem, dude?
I don't hate Zelda.
No, you hate Zelda. No, it proves it.
I don't hate Zelda
You've played Floor Kids longer. You've played Zelda. What's the problem?
Are you serious? No.
I'm sicking Caroline on you now.
That's fine. Number one. I am a Link to the Past kid. Like, so for me, like every Zelda game right away becomes, is this as good as? It's not an excuse. Every game is this as good as Link to the Past? And the answer in the first 30 minutes is no. So then it's like, well, why would I want to play it? If it's not as good as the best one, why is Donnie going from not playing Bayonetta 1? Because Bayonetta 2 is way better.
There you go. I was just joking with you. I wanted to get that out.
We're gonna have words in the parking lot later.
My parking lot is frozen. The parking lot here is frozen. So if you want to come on up,
it's 75 degrees here.
Dude, it's like
in
super
Georgia,
hot
dude.
here. Yeah, it was like 46 last week.
Stuff is blooming. I'm sneezing. It's not good.
Yeah, it's snowing here, so
Do you have anything else you've been doing on your Switch you want to talk about?
I mean, I've been playing Celeste. I'm not quite as good or as far as Jason is. I'm actually, I think, on the last stage currently. Okay. So I haven't quite beat it yet, but that game is brilliant. I really enjoy it. I think the music is spectacular. The writing in the game is really interesting and thoughtful and thought-provoking, more than you'd expect in a platformer. I don't really have anything new to add that anyone else hasn't said, but it definitely, for me, I think, is a must-buy game. No matter
top 10 Switch. That's what I'm asking everybody. Is it your top 10 Switch game?
For me, yeah. I mean,
there you go. That's the first one.
It's a top 10 Switch because I have like 10 Switch games. So.
Okay, that's fair enough. Hey, it's top 10 for you.
But even if not, like generally, obviously, we have a long year ahead of us still.
Sure.
But it is a game that is written down of like, hey, play this again in November to remember where this game fits. It really is that good. So yeah, like I said, everyone else has said enough about it. I don't have anything new or really insightful to say, other than I really enjoy it. I think it's great.
All right, Caroline, what's up, girl?
I have not played Celeste, and do you know why I haven't bitten the bullet on the game?
Because it's super hard, and you're gonna die 4,000 times like me. That's why I'm not playing it. I'm never gonna play the game. Nope.
Yeah.
I don't do that.
And I rage like really, really bad.
Me too. I'm like, I suck at this. I quit.
Over and over and over. Dude, I've like basically already quit Rocket League after 5 online matches.
Why do you hate Rocket League?
Because I'm not good at it.
Nice.
I can't say that you're not good at Zelda. That's
just beat up on the computer.
I did start that, but you know what? I only scored 1 goal.
Beat up on Brian. I just beat up on my kids. It makes me feel good.
No, see, Brian
beat my kids like 10-6.
Brian would beat me.
Oh no, that's not good. Yeah,
not even trying. I'm sure he would beat me. Anyway, I bought Rocket League only because it was on sale at Best Buy and it came with all the DLC and it was a physical copy and I'm like, sure, why not? And
you also got it for like $15. That's worth mentioning.
I got it because Gamers Club Unlocked. I got it for $15.99. All that stuff. I'm sort of regretting it, not regretting it. I mean, it was a steal for everything that I got.
Yeah, I mean,
but I'm not into it. But other than that, I 100%ed Xenoblade Chronicles 2, as I said. And I had like a void in my life after I spent, 2 months coming and playing that every evening and chipping away at it. So I was like, dang, what do I do? So I split my time halfway between finishing another Stardew Valley playthrough on the Switch and also actually started Pokemon Ultra Moon.
Again.
Officially. No. Like, I mean, I had literally
said... You told me you didn't get off the first island last time we talked.
No, Donnie, this is literally what I did. Hey, Mom. Hey, Professor Kukui. Okay, wow. I'm done. Wow. Yeah, that's yeah. So I've gotten to Kala Island. I'm on Island 2.
Okay. You need that lost sphere. I feel like you need that in your life.
Lost sphere. Yeah,
look it up.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I know what it
Okay.
is. It's just
I think that's.
I've
good
heard
for her.
really mixed things.
Yeah, like it's RPG light or RPG esque, but I feel like Caroline needs that. She needs like an RPG right now.
You know
I'm
what
about
she
to have it
needs?
again with Xenoblade. When
You know what she
when
needs?
March 2nd happens, I'm gone again.
Persona 5. That's what she needs.
Everybody's playing it, and they're telling me, they're like, you need a PlayStation.
I quit
you
that
need to
game for the
play."
second time.
Actually, you know what happened? I started that game again, and that was the game that caused me to trade Xenoblade Chronicles in, because I was like, I don't need this. I'm just going to play Persona 5.
I agree with
and
you.
that's what I've been playing.
You know what? To be honest with you, Caroline, not to like take that as like a fanboy comment, I would actually agree with him. Having played Persona 5, I actually do think that may have been like Xenoblade 2 not that great. I actually think I may have taken it because I played Xenoblade 2 for quite a bit. Like I played for 25, 30 hours, and then I quit it. And then I tried to play it again for another 25, 30 hours. I was like, I still can't. No, there's so much game there. You can play it for 20 hours and go nowhere.
Guys,
You're just like, what have I done? Have I done anything? Like you got some potions. You passed a test.
I played Breath of the Wild, and I will say that I have not gone back and gotten all the Koroks. That is the one thing
Don't do that. Don't do that.
No,
Don't do
but
that
I gotta
Go
do
get
it.
Skyrim. Do that instead. Don't do that. Don't do that. Skyrim on Switch is great.
I've played Xenoblade 2 more than I played Breath of the Wild, you guys.
Then what you need to do is you need to go do the Master Trials and go do the DLC.
Stop it! I'm meeting you in the parking lot.
You do need to do the Master Trial quest and go finish the DLC. That you should do. Or you did the DLC.
I've done all the DLC.
But you didn't do the Master Trial, right?
Yes.
Okay,
I beat you and Jason, don't you remember? I beat you and Jason on the sword, and then I did the song of the ballad.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I was playing Owlboy until Bayonetta came out, and then I just turned Owlboy off. This evening, actually, I streamed an hour of Old Man's Journey, which is a game that I've been hyping on the last couple of Nintendo Shacks because some folks on our Twitter feeds tell me it's great. It probably is great if you play it in portable mode. If you don't play it in portable mode, here's the thing I didn't know because I didn't look into any reviews because I was just like, it's $10. I'm going to throw $10 at the wind. It has motion controls that you have to use. You have to. Like, it's like a point-and-click Wii game because it's a motion game, because it's a touchscreen. Here's the interesting thing. Here's the thing that I didn't like. When you play it in portable mode, because I got stumped on a puzzle and I picked up the console and tried it. When you play it in portable mode, you can totally use the joystick to do your own joystick commands. When you dock it, guess what you can't do? Can't use joystick at all. Can't use Pro Controller. It's not available. Got to use the thing. It tells you to calibrate. Here's the other thing that sucks about that. I found that my cursor kept floating off the screen. I had to recalibrate constantly. If you watch the stream, you'll see me do it probably about once every 2 minutes. Also, when you have there's a lot of times you have to drag like stuff up and down. The whole by the way, I should have started this. The whole game is not like Telltale point and click. If that was the case, I'd be totally fine with all of this. Here's what the game is. The game is drag layers of the background to create like levels that match each other so your old man can walk down or up and move on to the next screen. So it's constantly like this puzzle thing. The whole thing. I played it for an hour and the whole thing was that. Here's the problem with that. When you drag something to the edge of the screen, motion stops.
This is just a badly designed game.
So here's the problem. When you need to drag it 8 inches, but the edge of the screen is 6 inches away, you have to drag, come back, grab, and drag again. When there are things happening in real time, everything stops. It slows to a halt. Wasn't a huge fan. That said, it's really pretty. It's neat aesthetic, what it's going for. I do think this might be the case where this is probably a better game on your phone than it is on the Switch. Or at the very least, probably a better game if you use the touchscreen controls on the Switch than trying to play it otherwise. And I think that's the only thing that's really worth pointing out. If you're going to buy this game, play it on the touchscreen. Don't try to stream it. Don't try to play with the Pro Controller. Don't try to play on TV. It's not meant for that. It's not for that. You can do it. It's not meant for that. Like, that aside. That's what I tried to do. Not the best experience. Play it on the screen. Use your finger. That's the way the game is meant to be played, and that's probably the best way to play it. Also, everybody kind of told me it's like this visual novel and all that, and like this narrative-based game. Really no voice. There's no voice or narrative at all. What there is like you guide the old man to like the dock. he like sits down and then like he remembers like playing boats with his daughter. And I'm sure it gets better, but like it's not like a motion scene either. It's literally like a picture, like a still scene. Like
is this a game that would make a sentimental me cry?
Not like really. Not yet anyway.
Not yet?
I'm halfway through it, not yet. There's nothing that's like making me cry. Like right now it's like right now here's what he's seeing. Like right now, like you start the game, like he sees this couple like this boy has his arm over this girl, they're looking at the sunset. And then he remembers how he did that with his wife or this girlfriend. And then like you see them like get married. And then you see them like she's pregnant. And then you see him like giving his daughter like a boat. I'm sure there's tragedy about to happen to me. I'm halfway through the game. It hasn't happened yet. I'm sure somebody's about to die. Something's about to go wrong. If not, this game's really dull. Like something has to happen. Like there has to be some sort of climax here. But there's nothing. I didn't get that far yet. But that said, it's not like that Dragon Cancer, right? Where like there are cutscenes and voices. There's nothing like that. It's just literally in the art style. I was trying to think about it. Is it Scholastic? Is that the name of those magazines used to be in like doctors' offices?
No, Highlight.
Highlights. The entire game looks like something you'd see in a Highlight magazine. That is the art style. That was the only thing I could think of. I was like, that totally reminds me of that magazine I used to read. That's what it looks like. So you just see like this one scene. It's not in motion. There's no animation. Like nothing's happening. It's literally just a picture of the old man, or like when he was younger, working or hanging out with his daughter, or hanging out with his wife or his girlfriend or something like that. So
I don't know. That in itself just seems really sad to me, and I don't know if I could cope.
She's just like, I know something bad's gonna happen, and I don't want to see it. You know, like she just keeps going. She's dreading it. She's like, it's bad. It's gonna happen. It's bad.
I have such a soft spot for the elderly too, so I don't know. Like,
don't play that Dragon Cancer. That Dragon Cancer. If you never saw it, if you never heard about it, have you heard
I
about
watched a little bit of what you played.
Oh my god, it brought me to bawling tears.
Oh no!
I was bawling my eyes out. That 2-hour video. I was just like, it's
that is the perfect game to explain when people are like, "Well, games are fun." Be like, "Hey, really? You're into that fun?"
Here's the sad thing: I would totally recommend that game to anybody. I love that game.
Oh, absolutely!
Right? I love the game. It's like that's a powerful game. It's such a game that like people should know that game exists. Like games like that exist. At the same time, like Anyway, yeah. So that Old Man's Journey, I don't think it's for everybody. If you hate motion controls, if you're like, I hate the Wii, don't ever play that game. Nope, that's a bad idea. Like I'm gonna finish it. I was halfway through in an hour, so it can't be more than 2 or 3 hours. So if you're looking for something like that, that's pretty cool. Outside of that, I don't think there's anything else. I've just been playing some old stuff. I played some Zelda. Like I've just been hanging around. I was telling Jason that I've just been hanging out. I did buy a Wii U, and that's what Caroline wants to get into. So like, here's the thing. Would you like to ridicule me now, or have me tell you the story and ridicule me afterwards?
I'm not gonna ridicule you.
Oh, I know Kyle is. That was completely directed to Kyle.
I'm happy because as a fellow collector who's got all of her babies on her shelf, I'm glad you're back into it, man.
So here's what happened, because when I posted about this in Discord, I get ridiculed. When I posted,
I don't think I said anything.
No, you did not. You did not. When I posted on Twitter, I totally got ridiculed. Jace doesn't even like try to be nice about it. Like he just like, this is ridiculous. Why are you doing this?
Jace.
What did he call me? Did you see the tweet he said? He said,
I can't remember.
He was like, you're the strangest video gamer I know, or something like that. He was like, and I'm not even kidding. This is ridiculous. And then all kinds of people just piled on. They were like, yep, this what this guy said. Yep, that makes sense to me. So here's what happened. If you didn't listen to the last 2 weeks of Shaq or PSVG, my home life has kind of sucked. Not in the personal space. That's been good. Like literally in the home, like the house itself has sucked. I've been digging trenches and holes and sump pumps, and as my house flooded. We had a lot of rain the last 2 weeks. My house flooded. And to be honest with you, it was a lot of like long nights and a lot of tired days. I was going to work, and I was just kind of down. And the folks in our Discord know that I've actually been kind of saying for like the last maybe 6 months to a year, my kids have kind of stopped playing video games with me. And I don't know why. Like, I keep trying, and I'm like, like we should play Mario. They didn't care about Odyssey at all. They literally were like, no, I don't want to play this. Like, they tried it, and they're like, no. The only way I can get my daughter to play video games with me is if I play Rock Band. The only way I can get my son to play video games with me is if I watch him play Pokemon. Like, there's no game that we play together.
You're gonna make me start crying.
Well, I mean, I don't mean to make you cry, but like I feel
know.
bad because when we had a Wii U, we played games all together. And when we did our Wii U Remember Me podcast, like I kind of mentioned that. Like I said, like the Wii U is my favorite console. I don't mean it's the best console, but like the Wii U was the console that started PSVG. The Wii U was a console that got my kids playing video games. I just kind of got nostalgic. Like I had this terrible week. Like I was like, man, if I had Wind Waker HD right now, you know, like that's what I would play and it would make me feel better. It's my favorite video game. And I know one day it'll come to the Switch. I firmly believe it will happen. But I was like, damn it, if I had it now, I'd play it now. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, man, if we had the Wii U, my kids would play with it. We'd play Nintendo Land. Like we would play video games together again. We'd play Wii Sports. My kids love Wii Sports. Like we would play these things. I had a friend of mine at work that I encouraged, persuaded, you know, to buy a Wii U one day. He bought the Zelda Wii U, the Zelda Wind Waker edition. He comes to me and he goes, hey, I'm buying my kids an Xbox One. We're going to sell this thing. GameStop will give me $85, $90 for it. Do you want it? And I was like, yeah. Like, how much do you want for it? And he told me $100. And I was like, 100's a bit much. He goes, we have, at the time that I told him to do it was when Wind Waker came out. He also has Wind Waker HD with the Ganon statue special edition.
Oh, no.
And Twilight Princess with the Amiibo special edition. He goes, all right, I'll give you everything we have for $200. I was like, all right, I'll buy it. The nostalgic collector bug in me, like, it got me. I have since been buying all kinds of things on eBay. I'm like, all right, I need all of it back. I need Nintendo Land. I need Color Splash. I need all of it. All of my favorite games. I need them now. I'm going to play them with my kids. So right now I'm probably $350 into a Wii U collection. I've got most of my first parties back. I got Xenoblade. I got everything that is not already coming to Switch. So I didn't get Donkey Kong. I didn't get Mario Kart 8. I didn't get Hyrule Warriors because I already have them or getting them. But I did get everything else for the most part, first party, and then even some third party stuff. So really, the way I want to kind of turn the story is I want to ask you guys. So we'll start with Kyle. Kyle, has there ever been a moment where nostalgia or emotion got the best of you and you splurged on video games?
Not to that extent. I very much have a hard time. For me, it's not about nostalgia. It's about being in the current discussion of games that I'm like, I don't really think I'm going to like this game, but everyone's talking about it. Maybe I'll like it. I'm probably not going to. Well, but everyone talks about how good it is, and then I buy it, and then I hate it. And I'm like, why did I buy into... Game?
Tell me what that game
is. Oh, geez. I'm not going to be able to think of one off the top of my head, but it's happened multiple times.
Okay.
But like, I think I very much get caught up.
Breath of the Wild?
No, I don't. Actually, Caroline, just so you know, Donnie has said that at some point this year he's going to restart that game, and I'm
Wii
going
U
to restart
came with
him.
The Wii U came with Breath of the Wild. I'm gonna play the game on Wii U. This is the first thing I told my son. I was like, "Guess what we get?" Are you serious? Yeah, he asked Breath of the Wild. I was like, "We have Breath of the Wild again," and I was like, "I'm gonna play it again." He's like, "You're gonna play it on Wii U?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Why?" I was like, "So I can start a separate save without having to ruin my own." Exactly why. That's why.
And whenever he starts that, I told him I would start playing Zelda again because I was only a few hours into it, and I would start over.
I'll hold you to that.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold you to it.
We're about to kill your Persona 5 progress.
Well, I know. I'm trying to. I was trying to get that done before Ni no Kuni in March, so we'll see what happens.
You're not anyway, either one of them.
Yeah, probably not. But yeah, so I think for me, it's more of that. I'll be honest, Donnie. Like the reason why, like, and I know not everyone knows the reason why you picked up a Wii U again.
Yeah.
But for me, like, I find that to be very like heartwarming and life affirming. Like. It was about you to a degree, but it was much more about like, hey, I want to reconnect with my family. I want to reconnect with my kids. And like, and I know the people who gave you crap for it, like, don't necessarily know that story, but like, would you share that? Like, that's why you want to do it? Like, how, like, to me, I think that's really awesome that it's like, hey, it's not the newest, latest, best, but it is the most important.
My kids were so excited. They were instantly, they're like, we need Nintendo Land. We need Just Dance. Like all of a sudden went right back to the games that they used to play and they want them again.
So yeah, I think that's awesome. I'm really excited to hear your stories of jumping back into these things because I know you love these games. Like you talked about them and how great a time you had with them. I hope that they continue to deliver that same joy for you and your family that they did initially.
I've committed to this time because the second time, and this is what I said to Jason, and people can think what they will, but the second Wii U I had really didn't count. I traded my Wii U for my Switch, right? I traded it all in, bought all my Switch stuff. The second Wii U I got it wasn't my Wii U. It was my friend's Wii U that I gave him an Apple TV for. We had like just a couple Zelda games and Mario Kart. Like it wasn't a Wii U. Like it didn't count, right? Like it wasn't mine. Like we didn't have it.
It's a bargaining chip.
Yeah, we barely even used it. It sat in the box for all time. So we traded that in too when we wanted new games. This is going to be my second Wii U. Like we're gonna buy Virtual Console. It comes with Smash. They had Smash. Like we have Smash again. My son is so excited to play Smash again. Like I'm committed to keeping this one. It's the limited edition I always wanted that I never had. It's got all the games that my kids wanted that they never wanted to get rid of. Like this one's not going anywhere. I'm keeping it.
I want the Ganon statue, dude. I'm so mad that you didn't think about me
I'm keeping it. It's gonna be right here next time we turn into the shack.
Yeah, okay, whatever.
Caroline,
it's on my to-get list.
Did nostalgia or emotion ever get the best of you in the video game space?
I think I've mentioned before that before I got into Nintendo, I was a Sega girl. And the Genesis was my first console. And it was my baby. And I had that thing since I was 2 years old up through the time that my parents decided that I had too many video game consoles and decided that they were going to sell it, the controllers, the peripherals, and all of my video games that were majority Disney video games.
Yikes.
On eBay for $25.
Oh, parents.
I have a similar story, but I'm going to hold on to it because it's sad. But yeah, good.
Eventually, I mean, I got in, I was like, they ruined it. I mean, like, I think I was 14. I was mad. I was a teenager. I was mad. I was really upset. You don't need that. You don't play it anymore. It's like, but I might. That's the thing. That's why I have everything here. I might. Eventually, after I started like having issues with just playing it on an emulator over and over and over again, I think it was maybe 2 or 3 years ago that I just really, I know exactly what happened. I had been thinking about getting one, and another Sega Genesis, and I was going to get my collection back. My sister surprised me literally the next day with one of those basically mini NES things they're really cheap, made in China piece of crap that's got 100 Sega Genesis games on it.
2 Sonic games and a bunch of games you never heard of before. You got it.
I was so excited. I immediately put it in. I mean, like the dang controllers had to have AA batteries in order to work.
Those are the wireless ones, right?
Yeah.
I know exactly the thing you're talking about.
But I was like, oh, but I really have been wanting this, and it's just like fate, right?
Yeah.
And then Sonic 2, my favorite game on the Genesis, the pitch on the sound was totally messed up. There was like this chirping sound in the back. It was just a bad port ROM. I was so mad. I was like, Hillary, my sister, I love you and I love this gift, but you got to take it back. And the next day, I bought a Sega Genesis on eBay.
Real one.
And
yes.
A real one. The real one. And I'm still working on my game collection for that. But yeah, I think I bought like 5 games with it.
Cool.
That happened in 2014 or 15.
Awesome.
Yep.
All right. Well, I did talk to my kids. We're going to try. I don't know if this is even possible, really. We're going to try to do a Nintendo Land stream. My kids always want to stream it, and I don't think we ever did. We're going to try to do like some sort of picture-in-picture with the gamepad plus us playing in a room. We're going to try. Cool. We're going to try to figure it out. We'll pull out the cameras and tripods. We're going to try to do it. I got a couple news stories. We're running a little long, maybe a little over, but it's okay. We'll just try to keep our thoughts to a minimum here. Emily Rogers, infamous Nintendo insider, says that Switch will have a Smash this year. Shocker. I love Emily. Kevin doesn't, but literally Jason and I have been talking about this for weeks. The moment that they said Nintendo Switch Online was going pay for play in September, I think we all, like Kevin and I almost immediately said it. Jason was like, eh. I was like, there's no way. There's no way they make people play for online without Smash being there. There's no other game. Like with Kart out of the way, it has to be Smash.
Yep.
Now, the interesting thing is she said, I don't know if it's a port or if it's a new one. She said, I don't know. She said, but there's new content, new characters, new something. The only thing I'm hoping for, single player. That's it. I need a better campaign single player. That's really the only thing I really care about. Yeah, I don't care about ice climbers. That doesn't bother me at all. I know Caroline wants ice. I don't care. I don't care.
I want ice climbers back.
The other thing that I thought was, I've got two other stories, but let's get over this one first. Fire Emblem Heroes, $295 million this year. Scares the crap out of me that we'll never get another Fire Emblem game again. Why would we? To put that in perspective, Alex Rodriguez, when he signed a 10-year extension with the Yankees, got $275 million to play. They got Alex Rodriguez worth of money in 1 year from Fire Emblem, the mobile game. Now, it's worth mentioning 60% of that money comes from Japan. That's still a crap ton of money.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I stopped playing it like 2 months in because it was such a cash grab. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to. I still won't get back into it because I'm like, you gotta catch them all type thing. And it was a cash grab, like special this weekend only for 3 days. Get these special ones. But I see people all over YouTube like, bring my bae into the game, vote for so and so.
Yeah. I've never paid a dime, and I still play the game. I've never paid a penny. So
I got to catch them all.
That's weird.
I couldn't do it.
They got $300 million. I never played. I've still played, and I've never paid a dime. And Caroline never paid a dime. She played for 2 months, but they still got $300 million out somewhere. Kyle, you got anything you say about
the thing I would just find interesting about this is, obviously we're seeing the model of free-to-play games be attached to $60 titles now, and people wonder why. That's why. Like, we complain about paying $60 and then paying. Like, clearly, I know this is obviously a free-to-play game, but like, they make money. People are clearly paying the money for these things.
Why not do it? Why not Call of Duty multiplayer, free to play, map packs, all downloads, cosmetic? Why not?
I've shamelessly done it for Disney Magic Kingdoms.
Yeah, you have.
What about you, Kyle?
I have put money into Disney Magic Kingdoms.
I'm absolutely terrified that when Sony releases Hot Shots Mobile.
Oh gosh.
I'm going to be right there with you guys. To put that in perspective, though, Clash of Clans and Pokemon Go both earned over $1 billion.
Oh, I thought you said Clash of Clans is going down. $1
billion. I mean, I pulled that from the article. It's what I wrote down. That's what the article said.
Billion.
So, $1 billion. $1 billion.
Pokemon Go isn't even 2 years old yet.
Grand Theft Auto, $1 billion, like GTA 5. Has to be, right? 60 million copies?
I think it's like 80 something now.
So that times 60's got it, yeah, right? So,
well, plus all their microtransactions.
But like that's like no other game but GTA 5 has hit $1 billion, and Pokemon Go did. And I wouldn't rank Pokemon Go in my top 500 games. It's like, that's insane. MPD is out for January. Switch did come in, the console most sold in terms of units. PlayStation 4 earned more revenue. I guess in terms of profit margin, I'm not sure how that works out, but Switch sold the most units. Interesting things about that. Well, I mean, first, let's just get you guys' comments. What do you think? Switch, this is crazy, right? I just bought a Wii U, sold like crap forever. The Switch is here in January, where it didn't even have like a huge launch. Highest selling platform. It's insane.
Yeah.
There's not.
I think it's important to keep in mind that January is a really good month for everyone. From top console to bottom console, there was a 3% difference.
Hang on a second. That's really good because this January is up 60% compared to last January. They made like crazy amount of money. It was at $1.1 billion more this January than last January. People are loving video games this year. I think that has a lot to speak about how great 2017 was. There are a lot of people that are like, man, there are a lot of video games over here. I got to go buy some stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, that's good stuff. And probably what if I tweeted about this last night, and probably what has got to be the most weirdest news fact out of MPD. 3DS, best January since 2014, highest month sold in 2.5 years. What? Let me tell you this. Here's what launched between December 15th and February 1st on 3DS. Style Savvy, 80s Overdrive, Kirby Battle Royale. Best month for 3DS in 2.5 years, since 2014.
Better than Sun and Moon launch?
Best month in 2.5 years. Now,
somebody's got their numbers wrong.
Nope.
Somebody put a 0 in
Hang on
there
a
where it
second.
should have been.
I do think, because Jason and I were talking about this last night, and he had a really good point. There is a qualifier here that I don't think was mentioned in MPD. That Pokemon Pikachu 2DS XL did launch in January. That's got to be an attributor here to the numbers. That said, just like Caroline just said, that said, this was the best month the system has had outside of a major push game like Pokemon Sun and Moon in 2.5 years. That's incredible. That's insane. Even with a new console, a new model, that doesn't matter. The fact that this was the best month without a major game, or even in a major game window. Like, there's no... Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon came out in October. Like,
yeah.
This is crazy.
November.
This is crazy. That's insane. So while we all are
last minute Christmas push, like, that's all I can think. You said December 15th to
no. I was using December 15th just for my own thing. This was literally MPD January 1st, January 30th, 31st.
I have no words.
Days?
31 days in January.
Yeah, you're lost. You're lost for words. There's no explaining that. So here's the thing: like, we all own Switch. We all love Switch. We're all like, more Switch. How could Kimishima like kill the 3DS? You can't. There's no way you could do that. It just had its best month in 2 years.
Well,
maybe people know the writing's on the wall, and
there's no reason for that.
People know that it's about to die, so they're buying it up.
Right, but
really fast.
like the PS2 did, right? They carried the PS2 2.5, 3 years beyond its life.
Oh gosh, yeah.
The 3DS still should live if it just had its best month in 2 years. Like,
well, clearly they don't need to do anything for it to sell because there was nothing there for it to sell.
Kirby?
So just keep making them.
Maybe Kirby on Switch is going to be huge. Like, maybe we just don't realize the Kirby come.
It is beautiful.
I'm excited for Kirby on Switch.
I
think I may be the only one here, but I love that Kirby Robobot. Kirby Robot was great. If nobody ever played it, like, it really was.
I never
great.
got that one. The last one I got
so
was
good. And I don't like Kirby. I'm not saying that as a Nintendo fan. I don't even like Kirby. I liked Kirby Dream Land and the golf game, Kirby Dream Course. That's the only Kirby games I've ever liked. And everybody hates that game, and I love that one. But Kirby Robobot was incredible. And if this game is half as good as that, it's going to be fantastic. The last news that I mentioned was about Kirby, and apparently there's a demo coming. There are all rumors all over Twitter that they're going to release a demo, just like they did with Kirby Robobot. Kevin and I both postulate maybe we'll get 1-2 levels to play. I think Kirby Robobot, I think you could play 2 levels. You could play them as many times as you want, but you can only play 2, which is weird. I mean, I don't know if it's weird because people don't even really do demos anymore, but it still feels weird to be like, here's a level. Like, it's really a level? It's like, here's 2 minutes of our game. Go buy it. I don't know.
It is kind of weird that it's ahead of time because demos like kind of exist now, but they tend to be like a month later. They're like, hey, that didn't quite sell like we thought.
True.
Here's a demo. Let's get you in there. So
when I think of demos, I think of like Nier, right?
Mm-hmm. Nier.
It's not like a demo. It's like, here's a portion of the game, right? It's like this.
Right.
Here's a prologue. That's when I think of demo, like Ground Zeroes. Like, I think like, here's a portion of the game. Here's 3 hours of the game you can play, right? Not here's a level. Like, level is that's a weird thing.
I tell you who did the demo right was the people that are doing the Project Octopath Traveler.
I knew you were about to go there.
Oh my gosh.
That was a great
it's
demo.
like, let's release it a year, maybe in advance, 8 months to a year in advance, get feedback from it, and build the game based off of the feedback.
Yep. No, I agree with you. That was a great demo. Anyway, that's what I had to say. Did anybody have any news or anything else you'd like to comment on? You guys good? Okay. Well, I'm gonna let you guys. Kyle, where can folks find you?
So you can find me. Actually, I'll plug the At Board with Video Games. So Josh and I do a board game / video game show. Board with Video Games at Board with VG on Twitter. And it was interesting. We actually announced this when we recorded on Tuesday, and then more has happened since then. But next week is going to be a special episode. It's going to be 100%. We're going to be talking about video games and violence, and board games actually, and violence as well, because there's some things there. We actually talked about that on Tuesday and announced it, but the show didn't release till Thursday, and obviously much more has happened since then. So it's going to be a very in-depth look. I've done a lot of research on this just in my past and read a lot of academic articles and things like that. I don't claim by any means to be an expert, but I hopefully can present a pretty not political, very much research-based view of like, hey, here's what the data says, and here's kind of where we're looking at and how these things tie together. So it's going to be a special episode. It'll be a little different than the norm, but I hope you are willing to check it out. And if you have thoughts, feel free to email us at boardwithvg@gmail.com, and we will you read your thoughts in the podcast as well.
Go, Caroline.
You can find me at the Nintendo on Twitter, and I'll also plug the fact that since Kevin was so nice and was like, hey, you need to put Caroline in the Arcadia Academia tweets, I have been doing those with Kevin and Tyler now, and we just did one over this past month about Earthbound, so since it's Nintendo, I'm going to say go check out the Earthbound one. Next month, or this coming month, we're going to be talking about Sonic the original.
Yeah. I'm excited to hear that. I love Arcadia. I really do. Like, you guys have taught me so much more about even games I thought I knew about. Like, I definitely
love the history behind video games. It's just, I'm a nerd.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff. Mm-hmm. I mentioned last week on Shaq, but I listened to I did Blood, Sweat, and Pixels, and I did Console Wars. Like in the last 2 weeks, I did both of them.
Console Wars,
good stuff.
So good.
Good stuff. You can find me over on Twitter at Play Nintendo, and you can always follow all of us over there at PSVG. Click on list. All of our Twitter handles, all of our shows are there. We are a proud member of the PSVG podcast family, and all of our shows published there almost every day. I'm trying to keep up with them all. Even I am running a day or two behind most weeks. So definitely everybody tune in. My 2018 resolution was to remind you every episode that I'm on, please share our podcast with a friend of yours. That can be tweeting at a friend of yours, say, hey, have you ever heard of PSVG? Or just letting somebody know, like, hey, I listen to this podcast. We appreciate it. We don't charge anything. We don't make any money. We don't have a Patreon, anything like that. We just want you guys to enjoy what we do. So if you've got feedback for the show, you can always email us at podcast@playsomvideogames. But with that being said, good night, Koopalings. But remember, always or never stop gaming. Something like that.
There you go.
There we go.
He's gonna be so mad.
I know, Kevin. I never host as well as Kevin would like to. But anyway, folks, thank you for joining us. We always appreciate it. Goodbye.
This has been a production of the Play Some Video Games Podcast Network. Find more great content at playsomevideogames.com.